Hey, so since we created this YouTube channel and asked a bunch of you to subscribe to it, we figured we may as well put out some additional content that we think could help the world, like why we're sometimes dicks on social. So in addition to preventing people from getting screwed on their financing and to creating less megalo, power-hungry maniacs making decisions on our behalf, we are also passionate about inspiring a generation of autodidacts who understand how their brains work. One of the most important tools that I believe is necessary to improving the current state of humanity is self-agency. So we are either the agent of our lives or we are the victim of our lives. And oftentimes we think we're the agent of our lives when really we're just serving somebody else's agenda. But before we get into too much detail on agency, we need to understand the things that prevent us from cultivating it. Like understanding our equipment. You got to know what you're working with. So, not your phone. Your physiology. As human beings, we are an extremely social species. We're basically like one step away from being herd animals. No shade, I'm also a human. But we are genetically, biologically, and evolutionarily programmed to belong to groups. It is hardwired into our DNA. And oftentimes that tendency is so strong that it causes us to act against what is for the greater good in order to belong or conform to a group. The first thing that I will share is that I am an autodidact, also necessary for cultivating personal agency. An autodidact is a self-taught person. I am fascinated by our brains and why we do the things we do, so I spend a lot of my time nerding out on it. So if you're looking for an institutional expert, I am not your person. I am of the belief that our institutions are in a state of decay due to capitalistic forces and monetary agendas, and that we currently have decades of compromised experts that we cannot offload our sense-making to. So I believe that autodidacticism is also something necessary to improving the current state of humanity. Okay, back to belonging, why we're sometimes dicks on social. I'm sure most of you are aware of dopamine and serotonin, the happy chemical and our brain's reward chemical. These are chemicals that help stabilize our mood and keep us happy and motivate us to do things. We experience a depletion in these chemicals when we experience a loss of safety or status. So, for instance, when we watch the news. And one of the easiest ways to replenish those chemicals is to identify with a tribe. Our brains literally reward us for being culty, which might explain a lot of things. So the MAGA people, or the Never Trumpers, or the jab, anti-jab people, or people on either side of the gun control debate. Those are tribes that we can seek to identify with, and when we take actions in support of those tribes, we replenish those neurochemicals, the dopamine and the serotonin. We also experience a surge in oxytocin. Oxytocin is known as the bonding chemical, or the love hormone, or the trust hormone. So it's what helps mothers bond to children, or lovers bond to lovers. But it also is the us versus them hormone. So it causes us to further the people who think differently from us. But then we get a neurochemical reward for being dicks. So we literally experience a surge in the chemicals that make us happy by being shitty to people that think differently than us. So next time you see a keyboard warrior on social, understand that their brains are sad and they're just seeking to make themselves happy. Well, there's like a 1 in 3 or 1 in 5 chance that they're a bot. But if they're a human, this is what they're doing. So instead of being a big tough bully, they're really just a sad human who feels unsafe. They are likely not an autodidact seeking to understand how their brains work, so they don't have the self-awareness to understand that this is why they're doing what they're doing. Instead of seeing them as this, you can instead see them as this. Or this. And instead of engaging with them, you're welcome to send them this video and offer them some self-awareness and help them understand they're just seeking the chemicals that make them feel good again, and there's other ways to achieve that. So in case this is you and someone sent you this video because you were being a dick on social, here are some alternatives for generating oxytocin that don't involve being shitty to other human beings. Self-awareness is dope. So for everybody else, next time you run into a keyboard warrior, have some compassion. They're just human. Their brains are sad. They live in the same world we do. And hopefully, now that we all know that our brains reward us for being culty dicks, we can all stop being culty dicks. And we can all go find better cults to belong to in order to generate positive neurochemistry.